Welcome to Women of a Certain Stage, the podcast redefining how we think about menopause. I'm your host, Lauren Cherie, a passionate advocate for breaking the stigma and empowering individuals to navigate this transformational stage of life with confidence and clarity. Here, we're diving into a new era of menopause support, featuring expert advice, real-life stories, and actionable insights. Whether you're curious about building your personal menopause plan or you're looking to make an impact, you're in the right place. Let's embrace the change together. We're having one of those conversations that we're just figuring out the tech. It's almost like this is my first time of ever doing a podcast, trying to get the tech right today. But I think we've got there. I think we're there. And Cherie, what I was saying when we were trying to get this up and running before is that your background is fascinating. We had an initial call, and if I remember correctly, you were sitting in your car and we were having this conversation, and I was like listening to the questions you were asking, and I was trying to put together in my mind your background, because I'm always fascinated by people. And then we started talking about what you did for work, and I just would love you to share with people a little bit, because I find it absolutely fascinating, and it is not something that I had really given much thought to before.
Yes, it's its whole its own underground. My main job on a daily basis is inspecting culverts for an engineering company. So they're like small bridges under roads. Oh, yeah, it's a
Tell me a bit more about that.
Far removed. Well, I am a biologist.
Yeah.
So I went to school to become a biologist. And through conservation biology, a lot of the labs are outside. A lot of the work is outside. And you learn outside. So I think between that and some work I did for a different engineering company, I just sort of fell into this position. Mm-hmm. And, being outside and the physical aspects of it, I absolutely love. So,
yeah, amazing. And have you done that for quite a long time?
Yeah, it's been about 12 years now. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And what keeps it interesting? What keeps it varied and interesting and keeps your attention?
Probably the conditions outside. And when you show up, you don't know what you're going to find. And, as I said, as a biologist, I love to see the creatures and the plants. Yeah. So just seeing, a salamander will excite me for the day.
Oh, wow. And what are you actually looking for? I mean, I'm completely ignorant about your area of work. So what are you actually looking for?
Inspection. Mm-hmm. It's a structural inspection for the culvert itself, for the roads. It's a contract through the Department of Transportation to make sure that our roads are safe. So it's basically like a bridge inspection. You're looking for damage in the structure, whether it's concrete or metal or whatever it's made out of. You're trying to figure out the stability and if there's a problem that needs to be addressed.
Amazing. So there's a lot of visiting and then I guess report writing or...
Yeah. So it's funny that I took your call while I was in the car, because that's where a lot of my life is spent. We drive to the work site. It's usually just me and one other person. We drive to the work site. We perform the inspection. We come back to the van, and then we put all our notes in the computer while we're sitting in the van before we go to the next work site. And then we move on. And then after that, we go to the hotel for the night usually. So
what sort of area are you covering?
All of New York State, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
the contract I've been working on is from Syracuse west. So again, it's kind of state, but I don't do downstate, and I've done 2 years in the Adirondacks. So.
Amazing. So how do you go from inspecting culverts to training as a menopause coach? I mean, how? Tell me, what's that bridge?
I've always been a healthcare advocate pretty much all my life. And, taking grandparents, mom, friends to the doctor, whatever. And I spent 2 years in pre-med and thought that I wanted to be a doctor, and then I wanted to get outside instead. So that's why I went into become a biologist. So when I hit perimenopause or menopause, and my symptoms were severe, and I spent 6 years chasing around different diagnoses and different doctors, just basically to be dismissed because all of the testing that they did was normal. And, you feel like you're crazy because they can't find anything wrong with you, right? But there's something wrong. You just can't, a test isn't telling you. So after going through all of that, I thought, I really need to use this experience for good, right? So how am I going to do that? And I was sure that I was going to become a menopause coach. And I had spent a couple of years reading, researching, looking at studies myself. And I searched online for a few programs to figure out what direction to go, because I really wanted solid certification coaching. Was, like you said, pretty far removed from what I had been doing. Yeah. And I knew I could help people, but I wanted to be sure I was going to be effective. So I took a couple of online courses and I kept feeling like I'm not getting what I want. I'm not getting, like, in the US, the meat and potatoes of it. So I was getting a lot of fluff, right? Things that I already knew, things you could read anywhere. And it wasn't very helpful. So when I came across women of a certain stage, I thought, oh, let me look into this. This is an actual menopause diploma, a certification in coaching in menopause. So I don't have to put the two together myself, my own menopausal experience and the coaching aspects. And then when I looked a little bit further, I realized that you, Lauren, had a shared goal of mine, which was being dedicated to shattering outdated narratives, driving the change that we need because menopause isn't understood and well supported, and empowering women with the tools and the knowledge that they need. So that's what really spoke to me about the programs, getting the diploma in the end, and then knowing that we sort of had a shared goal.
Yeah, I think that's so important, just change that narrative and helping make sure that people have got the right information and don't spend 6 years kind of going around in circles feeling as if they've lost the plot. I think it just frustrates me that in 2026, at the time of recording this, people are still having that experience and they're still going around that loop and they're still having these conversations. So it just made my heart sing when I spoke to you and heard about your background, work you were doing, and thinking about all the incredible people that you could help and support going forward. So what was it that made you decide, this is the program that I want to do? What was it about this program rather than any other program that you went, actually that's going to fit my learning style and work for me? I
felt like that you were doing a lot of the things that I wanted to do. You at the point when we spoke, I had envisioned my business being more of a learning process for other people, giving classes and sort of the biology of it, and bringing experts aboard to speak in front of people. And you were doing that. So I wanted to see how it was done, basically. But the diploma, the actual certification was the main driving force, I think.
Okay, so really having just be able to say, I've studied this, I'm properly qualified in this space, because you already had a really good working knowledge of menopause. You've already done a lot of work in that space, and I think that is common for most people that come to the program. They've already had the personal experience, they already have read a lot, or they've done some courses, and it's then, well, how do I apply this? It's one thing to have the knowledge, but it's another thing to actually have the application of that knowledge to help others and make a difference. So if you just reflect back on your time going through the diploma, what were the kind of key things that really shouted out to you or spoke to you that you thought, that worked particularly well, or that was something that, landed well for you?
There's a lot of key takeaways for me. I mean, it's just jam-packed. There's so much in that course. I think I can pull out 3 pretty easily. I think the main thing at this point is the confidence that I feel in having support behind me. We have the resource library that you put together, the year of follow-up, I'll get to that in a minute, but the classmates, the camaraderie from the classmates was immense. I was really shocked about how that came together, because you think about spending this time on Zoom, women all over the world that you don't know, and you don't know if you're going to see them again, and you don't think you're going to interact. You're on Zoom, right? But in coaching each other, because they coach you and you coach them, you get to learn a little bit more about them, and they share their knowledge and their skills. And there's so many accomplished women in the class that it was just thrilling. I can't say enough about the community.
Yeah.
Then also the coaching outline that you created, the menopause plan itself, the format is amazing. A couple of things to take away were trust the process in the coaching, because I thought I had never been coached before. So going into it, I thought, oh, she's going to give me some good ideas, some good suggestions. We're going to work on this. And really, it was a lot of reflection. Just the questions that being coached was a whole new experience, and it was amazing. So the questions that were asked really made me dig and really think about things. And in some cases, it took me a couple of weeks to find a real action step. But the way that it's proposed, it just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And then you've got it, right? You've got this, you've got a solution, or you're gonna move in a certain way. So there were things that came up for me and changes that I made that I actually never thought that I would make in my life. So
what sort of things?
I was the person who coffee in the morning and wine at night. Those are my bookends to the day, right? I got to get going and I got to wind down. And I enjoyed them. And I've been enjoying them for years. But, there were a couple of things that told me maybe they weren't the best things for me to be doing. And, but I just thought, there's no way I can get away from those. And through some of the coaching questions and the cleanse and all, I thought, well, let's see if I can wind down the caffeine. See how to do this. And I did it. And then, so end result, I do not drink alcohol. I do not drink coffee.
Wow.
I know. And so those are two things that I really thought would never be out of my life. And I mean, not that they caused big problems, but I just didn't like the idea that they were my bookends to the day, right? So
yeah, it's so funny. It's really interesting because when I'm coaching a client, and I'll very often, especially a lot of my senior executive women, I work with a lot of women in financial services, and when I'm doing the one-to-one coaching with them, not being a coach trainer, but actually coaching, I will often get presented with, before we start, do not ask me to give up my coffee and do not ask me to give up my glass of wine or my G&T. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you to do anything. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, surely that's what I'm here for. I'm like, nope, I will not be telling you to do anything at all. And the number of people that find they just feel that little bit better by not having the coffee or not having the wine, and yet they can have it. It's just knowing how it's impacting them and knowing what what it's like not to have it for a few days, and just see if you experience a difference. And if there's no difference, then that's great. That's just information for them. So fantastic. So what other takeaways were there for you from like the whole 18 weeks?
Well, that baby steps matter. So I feel like the changes that I put into place were baby steps, bit by bit. Let's see if we can do this and move forward. And I didn't realize that that's really what coaching is, and taking it upon myself. Other things, the expertise that we had, the people that came to class and spoke to us, the doctors, the specialists, the coaches, psychologists, it was just fantastic to be able to have access to these experts and ask them any questions that you wanted.
I love that. At the time of us recording this, we just started the next cohort, and we had Dr. Farhat Ouden last week, and I had to cut it short because there were so many questions for her. It was amazing, just the number of things that people are asking. I'm noticing cohort that the questions are getting deeper and more specific, and it's obvious that people's general knowledge of menopause is gradually increasing and building up, so they're able to ask even more specific questions. So it's fascinating, and I love how gracious my experts are with their time and the answers that they're willing to give. So you've gone through the program, and what's next? Where does this take you? What are you going to do with it going forward?
Well, I took the year off of my Culvert job to work at my business full time.
Wow.
So that's very exciting. Yes. Tomorrow I'll be meeting with my marketing manager, who has put my website together. So that should be up and running. I have 2 engagements with my local YMCA to speak. So that's kind of just what to expect in menopause or perimenopause. That's a question and answer thing. And to get the word out there that I'm coach, and you don't have to do this by yourself. And as soon as my website is live, I'm going to be sending out a number of invitations to friends and family. And one thing that I decided to do now is wine nights at my house, WHINE. Bring your own wine if you want it, but where I really introduce myself as a coach, because so many people say to me, well, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, what is there? What is this market? And what do you actually do for people? So when I had put together those slides and things for the YMCA, I thought, my friends and family could, see what I'm doing. So I'm going to have a lot of ladies, hopefully, come over for wine nights or lunch with the ladies or coffee with the ladies or something to just explain what I do and get the word out there. See what happens.
That's fantastic. I love that for you. And tell me, have you taken a sabbatical or have you left? Or, what's that looking like for you?
Yeah, it's more of a sabbatical. So the contract that I work on usually turns over every 4 years. Okay. And this year it was a turnover year. And so my boss was having trouble fitting me because he didn't get the contract that I usually work on. So we were looking for other places that I could work, with him, which was fine. But it just was, this winter, I'm always off in the winter because you can't inspect outside. You can't see anything. Yeah. And I'm so immersed in menopause business that I don't want to leave it, and I don't want to, I feel like I'll be so exhausted after being outside all day that I won't be able to give it my all. And I didn't want that. I want to move forward and I want to help people. So at the end of this year, or let's say in the fall, we'll see what happens then and where I'm at. But
this is so exciting. It's just great to have that opportunity to be able to dive all in. So you've got your website coming up, you're meeting your marketing manager tomorrow, and you've got these talks already booked. So it sounds like you've got a nice plan in the background. You know what you're doing. Are you looking to work with any specific type of client, or are you looking at quite a broad range? What's that look like for you?
I think, it's pretty broad, 35 to 65 year age group, but I think the women that I'll resonate best with are perimenopausal people that are feeling the symptoms and can't put a name to it or can't pinpoint why do I feel bad. I run, and a couple of my running groups, ladies just saunter on up next to me and say, hey, I feel like X, Y, and Z. What's that about? And I'm like, okay, let's, parse this out and really reaffirm that they're not crazy. You are feeling that. And just because you don't have a name for it or the doctor can't fix it right now doesn't mean it's not happening. So I think that 35 to 55, age group is probably my main target.
So are you looking at doing talks with them? Are you looking to coach? Are you looking to coach groups, or what's that look like for you?
So right now I'm just going to talk. It's going to be more of a community service. As much as they'll put me out there, I'll take it. I locked off a number of places in my schedule. I will do. I really think group coaching is going to be the most effective. And I'll also do one-on-one. I have so on my website I have a number of offerings, we'll say. So coaching is one-on-one coaching is another, and then a biological sort of consultation to verify symptoms or give studies, give them the information that they need to read for themselves. And also I want to eventually work with corporations, other entities, with men or families. I really feel strongly that we need cultural change, and it's not going to happen just talking to the women that are experiencing it. The families and employers, people have to start understanding that this is something that needs support. This is not to be dismissed. So
I love that. And it's interesting. I've just spent a weekend in Cornwall on the south coast of England with one of my new team members, and we've been mapping out where we're taking the business and driving things going forward, or where I want to take the business and drive it forward going forward. But she's a fellow entrepreneur, and she has a business in the antenatal space, and she works with both parents, both antenatally and postnatally. And she goes, you both become a parent, both of your lives shift and change, and we have to work with both parties. It's not just happening to one person, it's happening to both of you. And it might be the woman whose hormones are going through all the shifts and changes, but it's everyone around her. So I think that it's so fundamental and so vital that we work with everyone that's impacted, and especially the partners in their life and the men in their life as well. So that's amazing. So I know you made some notes before we jumped on the call. What else did you make a note of or scribble down that I haven't asked you about yet?
I just can't say enough about the program. I want to say thank you to you, Lauren, for telling your story and for seeing a need and for creating what needed to be created, for the resources and for coaching and for really lifting women up in this stage rather than just dismissing them. So I really appreciate the work that you've done.
I'm really grateful to you for having trusted me and trusting my team to take you on this journey. I'm looking forward to supporting you over the coming year as you've got this amazing time out to be able to drive this forward. And who knows, perhaps one day we'll even meet in person.
Yeah, that'll be wonderful. I would love that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time today. And yeah, let's keep chatting and see where you take this, because I know you're going to go far.
Thanks, Lauren. I'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining me on Women of a Certain Stage. I hope today's episode inspired you to think differently about menopause and the incredible opportunities this stage of life brings. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with 3 friends who need to hear this message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us reach even more people. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Lauren Cherie, or visit our website at womenofacertainstage.com to learn more about menopause coaching, inspiring events, and corporate training. Until next time, let's continue making a difference, one conversation at a time.